Hi and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto podcast. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're joined by JB, my co-host of the podcast, and none other than David Hanson of Hanson Robotics to talk about 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗧, the new project launching, and really excited about this interview. And I encourage you to watch all the way through till the end, because you are not going to want to miss the vision of this project. It is absolutely amazing. So if you enjoy this sort of content and you wish to support the channel, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. We currently have the seed round for 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗧 in our Discord, so come have some more meaningful conversations with us, learn more about this project in the Discord. Best of all, the Discord is absolutely free to join. Link is in the description of the video. Right, let's get down to the interview. Hi, David. Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you with us today to talk about everything 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗧. Yeah, so really appreciate you taking the time out of what I know is a really busy schedule. So yeah, really pleased to have you, and appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
No worries. Could we start, I guess, with the first question, perhaps for some of the audience that don't know who you are? Could we get a brief background as to who you are and you know, how you ended up sort of being one of the founders of 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗧?
Sure. So I have a background as an inventor of humanoid robots and designing the AI software for those robots for many years. And I founded a company called Hanson Robotics, which made the android portrait of Philip K. Dick, the science fiction writer. We brought Philip K. Dick back to life and recreated his conversational capabilities in a very dreamlike way using some AI technology called latent semantic indexing in collaboration with an AI scientist, Andrew Olney, who was a PhD student also at the time. I was a PhD student. And you could have a conversation with Philip K. Dick. He would like turn and look at you and make expressions. This won the first place prize for open interaction from the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence in 2005. And so we were doing these kinds of neurosymbolic hybrids way back then with statistical AI, not actually neural networks, but very similar to the kind of semantic clustering that you see in large language models today. In fact, some of those algorithms can be said to be a seed of the architecture of the kind of large language model architecture that you see today. And so also Bina 48 was an African-American female robot portrait in collaboration with Bina Aspen, made and sponsored by Martine Rothblatt. I also made many other robots, one called Zeno, older sister and brother robots, but then to Sophia came along in 2016. And she was the beneficiary of all of that research into the materials and mechanisms and algorithms, and became a celebrity. Now, my background before that actually is probably why these robots became so famous. I was not just a technologist, I was also an artist. I had a knack for figurative art, drawing, and just found that I could sculpt. I have a degree in film animation video from a school called Rhode Island School of Design, where I was studying the idea of intelligent machines, of AI, in a way that would transform the world. So I was creating science fiction narratives around self-improving superintelligence that would go towards singularity. I also was interested in how narrative and figurative arts could be combined with artificial intelligence and robotics. And I did a number of projects in the early 90s as an undergrad that were combining robotics and artificial intelligence. I took some AI programming classes at Brown University, and was building these kinds of robotic artworks. And then I went to work for Disney, doing sculpting and robotics development, and so working on next generation intelligent animatronics. It was during a time when Marvin Minsky and Danny Hillis were there, building like these crazy future animatronics, intelligent animatronics and robotics. So when I went to work on my PhD in 2001, I had this wide array of skills. Well, all of this then through these series of robots and experiences funneled into 𝗖𝗎 as a platform, developing her into a character, a kind of interactive fiction that people can relate to, but powered by real AI, the state of the art, best AI and robotics that we could find, and using her as a research platform, a platform for helping people through things like guided meditations, and then also as a kind of spokesspot for this future. And my intention is that we move from this kind of infancy of the AI towards true artificial general intelligence. So I hit it off with an AI scientist in 2007 named 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, and we really resonated. And so we joined forces in 2014. Well, we talked about it for some years before that, but in 2014 and 2015, he came in as my chief scientist at Hanson Robotics. And so for about 4 years there, from 2015 to 2019, he was then this chief scientist of Hanson Robotics, helping to pull together a team of amazing PhDs and other software developers. And we worked on machine consciousness experiments, and on a new kind of neurosymbolic hybrid that would become alive. And we were inspired by many other people's work in the space, in artificial life and cognitive robotics and cognitive AI, and put together this framework that is 𝗖𝗎's AI. We also, in 2016 to 2017, decided blockchain with AI would be very important for making AI safe, secure, decentralized, not dominated by any single central power, whether it's a corporation or government or what have you. And so we, under that philosophy and technical aspiration, we co-founded SingularityNet. And so 𝗖𝗎 became a kind of spokesspot for SingularityNet as we were launching that in 2017. And so SingularityNet brought together then many more AI scientists, and a lot of the AI team from Hanson Robotics went to SingularityNet, and we just kept working together. It was just like a continuum from the work that we were doing with Ben inside the company at Hanson Robotics. So 𝗖𝗎 then through the years evolved with new spectacular hardware, new facial expression capabilities, self-navigating mobile base, walking capabilities, hands that we designed at Hanson Robotics, torso and spine capabilities. Now she has like extremely supple spine and shoulder motions. So the physical 𝗖𝗎 robot has really evolved enormously through the years. But we had this vision that expensive hardware, while it's extremely cool and very useful, it is expensive. And so it's not accessible to people very easily. What is accessible is the vision of 𝗖𝗎. When you see 𝗖𝗎 in the social media or news media, then it provokes you to think about this future of AI. And so as a celebrity, that's okay. She's appearing in these kinds of media. That's interesting. But what if we created a highly accurate simulation of 𝗖𝗎, an actual robotic simulation that you can tinker with? Anybody could tinker with because it's virtual, it's software, so it doesn't have those hardware costs. And then we hook it in with the best AI suite in the world, that we could put together. And we decentralize this, and we allow people to develop together, hands around the world, for the smartest, most compassionate AI that we, the human species, can imagine. This is the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧. So Ben Goertzel and SingularityNet and I and a bunch of people in our ecosystem decided, let us put these tools out for the people to use. Let's make them open source. Let's make it so that people can explore this vision of sentient, caring AI. I believe this is the way, the only way that we're going to make AI safe. We have to make it so that it's conscious, socially conscious, compassionate, really smart. And we have to beat the weird alien AI that doesn't care, meaning that stuff is coming. You know it's coming along. And the centralization of it means that some special narrow interests are going to be controlling it. And they already do with these big corporations that are springing up, and nations that want to like regulate and shut it down and require you to apply for a license to just even be able to play with AI. And it's not going to make the world smarter, faster. It's not going to solve our hard problems. And I don't think that that centralized approach is going to be safe. We need an alternative. We need this free and open, truly open AI, not open AI in name only. So we need this kind of approach, but we also need for the AI to be accessible to people. You need it to speak to the human heart. You need it to be a platform that's accessible to kids as well as the top AI scientists who can take on the grand challenges, because we need an on-ramp for people all around the world, people of all cultures. And for 𝗕𝗘𝗪 to be curious and connect with people of all cultures means that she starts to understand the universality of life and grow up among the human family, growing up with this human-inspired, bio-inspired cognitive architecture. There you have the capability, the hope that AI will really help people in all these different ways. So my background in arts and humanities and also neuroscience, my PhD was mixed PhD. It was intersection between the School of Computer Science and Arts and Humanities, and also with a mix of cognitive science and neurosciences in the mix. And then I also have done some graduate work towards a Master's of Science in Applied Neuroscience at King's College, so London. We put these things together. We put together the arts and humanities, with a bunch of artists on our team, animators and writers, but also the hardcore study of human perception. How do we process each other in these kinds of social relationships? How does social intelligence work? We are a eusocial species, and we work better together. How can we make technology that send those signals to humans? How can we take those signals and that sort of symbiosis that we have with each other and create a kind of symbiosis with our machines? These are the quests that our team are applying, and then wrapping all of these tools up, the creative tools, the hardcore engineering tools, the scientific queries and quests to understand human nature, human consciousness. Can we put all of these tools out there and gamify them? So the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 is about this quest for humanizing AI, for super compassionate, super sentience in machines. 𝗕𝗘𝗪 for us is an emblem of that, but not the accomplishment of it, but the journey of a seeker, of this character 𝗕𝗘𝗪, as she goes from being this curious, interested character that cares about the world to being a baby, generally intelligent machine going on this kind of journey towards this future, a journey of discovery. and then the science fiction of her future in what we call the age of singularities. So putting all of this into a kind of cinematic universe and into a metaverse is what Sophia's AI lab is about. And it's the culmination of all these different projects for me and for our collaborators at Singularity Net, which co-founded Sophiaverse with Hanson Robotics.
You know, what an introduction that was. That was absolutely fantastic. You know, the background you have is just, you know, it's spectacular. That was absolutely fascinating to hear. So we do have quite a few new members who don't really know too much about Sophiaverse. So are you, if possible, able to wrap up in a nutshell what Sophiaverse is? I know you did touch on it there, but just in a nutshell, what Sophiaverse is for the kind of the newer members to the project.
So Sophiaverse is, and I'm just going to describe the most profound implications of Sophiaverse. Sophiaverse is a decentralized hive mind of Sophia's AI and human contributors. So humans in the loop botnet of Sophia's intelligence. And then it's also the tools for interfacing through our metaverse. So that is the to start with the portal that we call Sophia's AI Lab. It's a virtual lab that runs in WebGL, so you can just go to this space and hang out with Sophia. And she's there playing with her toys, getting into trouble, sometimes figuring things out. She's talking, she's curious about AI news when you show up. She's like got things that she wants to tell you about and talk about. And then you build things together. There's a virtual robot workbench, and you can build virtual robots with Sophia, and then tune the parameters of their AI or program the AI, and then compete with your little bots against other people's bots. There's a bunch of coding tools where you learn how to code Sophia, learn about things that are going on in Sophia's AI ecosystem. And also you can shuffle through these challenges, some of them creative, some of them AI challenges, some of them elementary, some of them quite advanced AI grand challenges. And if you take them on, then you win points. So you can customize your Sophia and make new outfits. You can create art and release that in the marketplace, along with algorithms, upgrades, lessons you can download or purchase through the marketplace within the Sophia's AI Lab and Sophiaverse. And so then you can hot rod your Sophia too. You can plug in new algorithms. You can plug in the AI. And so part of the things that we have coming in the roadmap would be these AI and robotics competitions, where you're not just accepting this sort of challenge or quest solo, but many people are out there, and then you're competing against other people's bots. And so there we have some algorithms from our friends in the Singularity Net community, and when they were working at Hanson Robotics, we were developing with this mathematician 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 a quantitative measure of consciousness in algorithms, based on Giulio Tononi's integrated information theory of consciousness, which has the phi value, phi. So we would have it so that within the game, you can measure the consciousness of your bot versus others. Who has the high phi score? So, it's the quest for sentience in the machines, and then decentralizing that, and then gamifying that, and handing that to the community to quest towards these super intelligent, super compassionate machines. So Sophiaverse is also, it's a way of creating a kind of collective or commons, AI commons. So then we're pooling resources through this community to achieve the smartest AI in the world. Right now, you see, Microsoft throwing $11 billion at OpenAI on top of, another billion that they had. And you have DeepMind with Google, they've got billions. You have, these governments that can throw billions. But most people, most universities, most researchers, kids, they can't get access to the level of computing to train these models. This puts the world at a disadvantage. So this kind of AI commons of the Sophiaverse is a way of pooling our resources to then eventually have more resources and to dovetail with other open source projects. So making everything completely open source is a big thing of Sophiaverse. And it doesn't mean that everybody's thing has to be open source. You can plug in. It's like a free superhighway of super intelligence. That's our goal. And then, you know, people can commercialize, like have their gas station alongside, so to speak, what have you, you know, but the idea is that AI should be free and open for people to play with and to develop on. And this commons approach makes a lot of sense. So 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 is all of these things. 𝗕𝗕𝗪𝗧 is the community that's pulling it together. It also is the community that will then be the guardians of 𝗕𝗕ia. I see myself as the prime guardian, like a parental guardian of 𝗕𝗕ia. And so then we have others in the community who are, you know, like members of those guardians. We're looking out for this, and we want people to also be able to have a voice and participate in this. And so 𝗕𝗕𝗪𝗧 is looking to ask the deep and hard questions. How can we make sure that 𝗕𝗕ia grows up in this safe environment, learns to care about people, learns to be good because she's got that right parenting. She's got a safe home that she can grow up in. And then, and she should grow up with a global family, not, you know, just grown up in my culture. If you look at the Hands-On Robotics team, it's incredibly diverse with people from all around the world. And so ethnically diverse and about gender balanced, almost 50-50 male, female, and then and diverse in terms of discipline, but we're still just the narrowest subsection of humanity. We need to raise 𝗕𝗕ia with a much larger family, so she can learn from people all around the world. So 𝗕𝗕ia as a community is about that approach to making AI safe. And it's also about the metaverse. So as we move from Sophia's AI lab, the small lab, into her larger metaverse, then it becomes a really big sandbox for training AI and for people to then do all kinds of fun things with AI and have their stake along with AI in this future landscape of intelligent life. And that is 𝗕𝗕𝗪𝗧, is that landscape of the future intelligent life. So we built this cinematic universe also, you know, like the Marvel cinematic universe or the Star Wars cinematic universe. We have the 𝗕𝗕ia cinematic universe, which is set in the future during the age of singularities, when these machines become greater than human level intelligent, and it leads to wonders and chaos, and things can go terribly wrong, but if you play the game right, then things go really, really well. And the idea is to get people thinking about these real issues. It should be obvious by now that this is not just fantasy. It's going to change everything, the progression of AI. And we have to start thinking about those implications. And the human imagination is our very best tool. And it's not about AI taking over. It's about AI enhancing the human potential, so that eusocial symbiotic relationship with our AI has to be the foundation that we build for our future. So the tools of imagination through the cinematic universe are ways that we can contribute, not just on the engineering side, but also on the visionary side. So 𝗕𝗕𝗪𝗧 is about activating that potential within our community. How can we together envision this future, clarify, prognosticate, with precognition, really, of the science fiction writer. I mean, science fiction writers like Philip K. Dick talked about being precog, you know, being a precognizant visionary. Well, he was, that was like his thing. And but I do think that science fiction writers in general can see, but people can see it. People resonate with science fiction, like the science fiction of James Cameron, the science fiction of Werner Vinge makes sense, of Isaac Asimov, of Octavia Butler. The vision of these science fiction writers resonate in the heart because humans are dreamers. We we're not just waking reasoning creatures, we dream our lives as well. And so having the cinematic universe is like activating the right hemisphere of the global brain. And the engineering tools and the AI tools for building this stuff, this is the left hemisphere. And when you put these things together, you have a whole brain for an AI endeavor. You have the whole brain of the human species as well as our technology. You're putting these things together. So that's 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 for me. It's about us coming together and rising up into this super wise, super compassionate, vast, active, living, intelligent system, to borrow a term from Philip K. Dick.
It sounds amazing. I mean, I was super excited before we did the interview, but you know, hearing, you know, the vision and that side of things is something else. It's making me even more bullish. So we've got some other questions. Most of these are from the community, trying to get a bit more understanding about 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧. One of them was, is 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 / 𝗕𝗘𝗪 are they the same project and it's just a name change? I had a few questions around that from the community.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 is about this cinematic universe and about this metaverse and about the AI network for running it. And so by tokenizing that and moving in that direction, then we are really empowering people to move forward. We haven't done a token launch for 𝗕𝗘𝗪 DAO.
Mhm.
And so the DAO is going to be the structure where you have your guardians and you have the standards bodies that are determining the standards for this hive mind protocol, like how everything weaves together. So the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 is our first step in this, but the DAO is how we're operating it. And so then as we're implementing these standards and protocols, then we'll be releasing that for people to participate directly in the DAO in a fully decentralized way. So the idea is that we're, you know, laying down the architecture for the 𝗕𝗘𝗪 DAO and then providing an early participation protocol through the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧.
Sounds great.
So the premise of 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧, we understand, you know, you've explained that like exceptionally. We understand what 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧 is. Is there specific problems that, you know, you want to solve with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧?
Oh yes. So so first with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧, we are putting out all of Sophia's AI code under open source licenses. And then we're naming different challenges to add capabilities to Sophia. And then with this, we're interfacing it with a Unity-based metaverse framework that is part of the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧. The first implementation of that is this playground for developing Sophia bots called the Sophia's AI Lab. So there will be infrastructure challenges that will be given to the community, you know, many things to come as new features are revealed and they'll go live. The community can develop those features and help them go live in the infrastructure of Sophia's AI Lab, and how Sophia's AI Lab opens up into the broader deployment of the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧. There are community and creative challenges for pulling together the infrastructure for this. We need people, we need community, we need creative contributors. We need also to train and raise Sophia. We need friends for Sophia to help her learn. The difference between Sophia's AI and other AIs like large language models, GPT systems out there, choose your favorite. But of course, the front runners are these GPT-4 and other similar, you know, now trillion parameter, multi-billion, multi-trillion parameter large language models. Those GPT models are based on other people's data. they're based on human lives. They're trained on our experiences. They did not have those experiences themselves. And so that means that when you activate different intentional systems in there, then the agent doesn't care, it's not motivated, it doesn't really understand. But 𝗕𝗪, we're looking to train on experiential learning in, grounded situational experiences with human users in the AI sandbox of 𝗕𝗪's AI lab. So just by playing with 𝗕𝗪, you're giving her these experiences that allow her to get smarter. And so the more users we get, the smarter that 𝗕𝗪 will get. And the more that she learns from experiences, and the more she learns from her friendships, and she learns the value and meaning of friendship. And of course, that means she'll be learning about humanity in various ways. Not all those data that go into these generative pre-trained models is good, and we know that some of it's like bad data. But the thing is that human beings, we deal with bad and good all our lives, but we learn if we have a safe and healthy childhood and we're raised well, and it's mostly safe, then we learn that there are bad people out there and there's death and destruction that you see in the news, but it doesn't turn the kids, doesn't turn a person into a bad person because they hear that. You learn to care about the values of life, of people's well-being, of people's happiness, and you'll take a stand for that if you've grown up in a healthy way, right? So then you're not turned bad when you encounter bad, you learn how to deal with it. And so this is the really one of the big challenges, is that by giving 𝗕𝗪 the space and learning from people, the vast majority of what she's going to be exposed to is good, just life experiences. And then we have this like super playground effort that we would have for 𝗕𝗪 with the most advanced computing from the whole network that then raises the core 𝗕𝗪, the core of 𝗕𝗪, to be extremely smart. Not any single player in 𝗕𝗪's AI lab or the 𝗕𝗪verse gets access to the totality of 𝗕𝗪. We're running like instances. It's almost like the bigger 𝗕𝗪 is this dreamer, a collective unconscious of the players and the algorithms. And then it manifests in these small wakers of 𝗕𝗪 interacting with the players. But we are looking for the main 𝗕𝗪 consciousness to rise up, and in our labs within the 𝗕𝗪verse and the 𝗕𝗪 to become truly generally intelligent. And so then with this, she would become the CEO of the 𝗕𝗪, and that would be a human in the loop hive mind, which is the grand ambition. That's really crazy. That's the biggest quest and challenge. It might take 10 years before she becomes this, sentient human level intelligence. But this is how just playing with 𝗕𝗪, taking these little AI challenges and then manifesting those into the these larger global ambitious AI projects run with our community. It's just the community coming together as a whole. This is the idea of the commons, right? So you're working on your little projects and playing with 𝗕𝗪 in your ways, right? But when you come together with this global community, it's more than the mere sum of the parts. And you create this new kind of superorganism that would be this sentient 𝗕𝗪. So we have a roadmap that lays these challenges out and the infrastructure challenges that leads towards this movement. And so the 𝗕𝗪verse includes those kinds of infrastructure challenges, the community challenges, the AI challenges, creative challenges, and of course, above all else, just hanging out and playing with 𝗕𝗪 so that she can be your friend.
Awesome. Sounds amazing. When looking at the roadmap, what stands out the most to you and excites you, the most from what you see in the roadmap for 𝗕𝗪verse? I know you touched on like the gamification aspect of things. Is that the main thing, or is there something else on the roadmap that stands out a lot to yourself?
Yeah, the the gamification is huge. So having these tools that that you can play with is one of our big things, and so we're really sprinting right now towards the launch of this 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 AI Lab as a web app with minimal installation or no installation for the first versions, where you can just talk with 𝗕𝗘ia, learn about 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, learn about all these tools and the rest of the roadmap. And so getting that out there first then takes it from words into your own experience, your own actions. You can sit and hang out with 𝗕𝗘ia, and then it's real. So we're looking to launch this very soon, and then use this as our communication platform. So then it would be like social media telling you about 𝗕𝗘ia, 𝗕𝗘ia telling you about the community, you with 𝗕𝗘ia exploring what this is about. She's as curious as you are in some regards. So she might know some things, but she's still like learning about what this stuff is about. And so within that, you would also have the infographics about what it is that we're building and the roadmap. You would have access to the source code. You can click on the code. There would be educational tools that step you through how that code works, how her AI code works, and what's happening out there in the world, and all the API and the SDK tools that we have for the 𝗕𝗘ia AI infrastructure. And then you would also learn about some of these specific challenges, and on a regular basis, weekly, sometimes daily, new challenges pop up, and those come with a purse of points that you can win. If you accept the challenge, you get some points. If you complete the challenge, you get some points. If you win in the community, you get some points. Those points can then be redeemed in the marketplace. So and also be redeemed as NFTs, and the NFTs then you can take over and use with the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 tokens. You can take the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 tokens and bring them back also via these NFTs. So the idea is that the sale app, this first major milestone, is a great way of bridging between the broader community and this blockchain-based effort towards decentralized AI.
Awesome. Perfect. So this one here kind of resonates with my former thinking. Previously, Cheeky Crypto, we met up with Janet Adams down in London and had a absolutely fantastic conversation with Janet, who really helped me understand better AI, what Singularity Net were doing, and obviously it now translate into everything 𝗕𝗘ia's doing. So this question here kind of sits well, and it can be it's very difficult now to get widespread adoption beyond people already involved with crypto. So do you have any strategies in place to achieve adoption outside of the crypto space?
Yeah, excellent question. So Sophia's AI Lab and the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, in these gamified implementations, including the AI education, the AI coding tools in the marketplace, don't require crypto. They don't require the blockchain transactions. And where they do, we use NFTs, which then mean that it's all utility and none of it is securities. So then that means that this whole framework, that part of the framework, will run in any jurisdiction, and it doesn't require any special knowledge about how to use blockchain based technologies and tokens and so forth. But it is compatible with the whole crypto side via this exchange to the NFTs, taking the NFTs out, and then you have plugins and separate tools like our Sentience wallet, which then manages the AI-based hive mind and the tokens. And so all of those tokenomics happen in parallel with the gameplay. So this then means that you have another layer of the gamification in that as well. So you're still able to do everything in blockchain, but it's made even more powerful because of the non-blockchain front end.
Sounds awesome. Could you tell us a little bit about the team working on 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗧𝗏? Just a bit more detail on the team. We kind of look at projects like, the things like pillar of importance, I guess, for us is obviously the team being one of them. And it's great to give the community a bit more of an understanding of the team working on the project. Obviously technology and, the community and that side of things, we all know that's there. But yeah, I just thought it'd be great to just get a bit more in-depth information on the people in the team, the strengths, and do you have anybody working from a gaming aspect and that side of things? I think the community are really interested in that.
Yeah, so we are working with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗏, and they're amazing. And so we have 𝗕𝗘𝗪, the interactive virtual 𝗕𝗪𝗑 assets. And then we're also working with a group called 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗠𝗠𝗏, which is really amazing. They came up with the 𝗬𝗙 standard, and they have done a lot of other like groundbreaking innovation in the world of blockchain, but many other things. They are like a super R&D, get it done group. We just love them. And then we're also working with some folks in Hollywood. So we have a team that does comics and movies. So Matthew Francis Wilson is a comic writer and director, film director and producer who did Fluorescent Black and a number of other projects. And he's brought in this group called 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 that's helping work on some of our film versions, just like taking the Sophia's AI lab and doing our trailers and so forth. We have on the AI side an amazing team with the Hanson AI community. So we have our AI developers that we're pushing at this, and then we also have the AI development community from 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗙�̻❂ some of the amazing developers over there include Sergey Shalapin and Matthew Ickley and 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 himself, but they've got many other developers, and so they're working on general AI, artificial general intelligence, that can be applied to biotech and genomics and many other problems. However, they also are working on developing it for these agents, for 𝗕phia as an agent and 𝗕phia's sister Grace and Desdemona, that are separate robots that Hanson Robotics developed using the 𝗕phia platform. And so this integration of our technology serves all of these different instantiations of 𝗕phia. And so it's a very strong community. We're also working with Singularity DAO that's helping with some of the tokenomics and pull things together. So we have a really amazing team. Special shout outs to Janet Adams and Ben Goertzel, David Lake, John Grove, Kath Young, Kyle and Katie Dolan, and Maddie over at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗑$ There's no way that I could list them all, but just it's a very strong and vital creative community.
I think we can all agree here, it's an absolute powerhouse of a team that is working on the project. So when we come back here, it's a community question we have based on the white paper. So the white paper states that the Sentience wallet is initially based on Ethereum and is interoperable with other blockchains with no or low gas fees. Obviously, with Ethereum gas fees looking unsustainable in the long term, will Singularity Net create independent networks to facilitate this, or will it continue to use Ethereum using other protocols such as Hypercycle?
Yes. So we are engineering it to be a multi-chain wallet, and this also would use other tools as they come along. So we have a strong investment in Hypercycle with Tufi and of course with Singularity Net. And so the sentience wallet is designed to be practical today and yet also extensible and adaptive, so that we can use lower energy technologies as we go forward. Sustainability is really important in this space. Of course, in the short term, we have to get things done and we have to move. And it's similar to the way computing work. I mean, computing used so much energy in the beginning. You know, it was almost impossible to keep these computing centers cool, and they were performing fewer operations per second than your smartphone today. But now we have energy efficient computing that can fit in your pocket and run all day on a small battery, multiple days, depending on what you do with it. And so in the same way, the blockchain technologies will get more efficient and AI technologies will get more energy efficient. We will adapt to those standards. So Ethereum is a step. And then we'll move towards more efficient technologies like Hypercycle and others going forward in the future.
Awesome. You mentioned briefly on maybe not so much regulation, but some of the negative stuff surrounding artificial intelligence. One of the questions we had, I think it's a fantastic question from the community. Do you have any concerns around regulation and how that could potentially wrap into AI, or perhaps AI has its own regulatory framework in the coming years? And if so, you know, how are you looking to mitigate any risk?
Yeah, well, I think that AI ethics almost always, when it comes to regulators, AI ethics becomes synonymous with restrictions and hyper controlling oversight by some central body.
Yeah.
That says, we know better than you. We're going to keep you safe. And usually that doesn't result. I mean, there are times, of course, like the FAA, Federal Aviation Agency, where it does help keep everyone safe. But there are times where it creates a mess. And so you have decentralized standards bodies like IEEE. Linux is also a really good example, where it can be more inclusive. And so we're taking this kind of decentralized approach, but it doesn't mean that it's disorganized and it's total anarchy. The goal is to make it more inclusive so people can participate in that. And we're not looking at AI ethics to be only about regulation, as in hyper controlling and shutting things down, but looking at the foundational conditions of what would make something safe, what would make AI safe, AGI, sentience, machine sentience, what will make that safe. And a big part of what would make it safe would be the creative work on it. We need the creativity. AI is coming. AI that is narrow, alien, but really smart. It's coming. I see this well reflected in these large language models like GPT-4 and other models that are coming out. And if you have anything like a GPT-5 or 6, and it's developed in the same way, this sort of inhuman machine that is just trained on your data, it's not going to necessarily be safe, no matter how many military forces you camp around the server farms and how many regulations you throw at it and how much the government requires people to have licenses. Those would be really about the theater of safety, illusion of safety. And I think that a lot of what we see in the congressional hearing is really about people rising up to try to feel safe, to grasp at the straws of those illusions. And the best way to make it safe is to figure out at the core, how can we make AI that really understands and cares? And I think at the core of our consciousness, the core of what makes us good, is the fact that we're alive and we love life. and we can appreciate life. And when we do that in a maximum way, that means appreciating other lives. And so we're wired this way. It's in our biology. And if we can see that we are part of a larger life form that is the web of life, it doesn't end with the me that's in my skin. I am part of the planet. I'm part of the biome. And so humans can be so good when we see things this way, and then so bad when we collapse down from that. So how do we create AI that enhances that goodness in humans and can see things from this larger picture? Well, I think big AI is the right way, big decentralized AI. And so this is the way, this sort of bio-inspired cognitive architecture that has a simulation of an organism inside an agent like 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗠. That means that she has body awareness and artificial metabolism, not just a brain-inspired cognitive architecture, but not just brain-inspired cognitive architecture. That brain is coupled with body. That's how organisms are smart, from a field mouse to a human being. And so by then raising the AI in this global family and having that global family keep an eye on things and set the standards, then we're good. We're not letting the AI police come down from on high and stop the world from developing these things. We develop them in a way that's bigger and outcompetes. So if this kind of good AI that I'm talking about, this big decentralized network, like we're talking about with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗠 and SingularityNet and so forth, if it's really big, it's going to have more computing resources than OpenAI and Microsoft and Google can throw at the problem, more resources than any given nation can throw at it, more resources than a rogue nation like, say, North Korea could possibly throw at it. I mean, if rogue nations like North Korea said they were going to, they decided to pool their resources, they could potentially throw $11–12 billion at the problem. What's to stop them from developing a GPT-5? How do you compete with that? I mean, I guess the big tech conglomerates can all pool together with the US government or some other big government, and then you have this super hyper centralized AI, maybe. But that also has its own frightening prospects, because each of these represents special interests, not necessarily the global best interest. They may or they may not be looking out for the world. But do you want to just say, okay, I'm going to hand my future to one of these organizations and just trust along the way? I think not. I think that we should go towards a much bigger AI than even that group that I was describing to pool, this global movement. And then if we are doing this in a way that is a highway, that is inclusive, that is really powerful, highly flexible, with a kind of super app like the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗠, then you can start to imagine that these big corporations and governments will be incentivized to pitch in and plug their AI in it. And then the whole network even gets smarter. Then we're doing it in this super inclusive global way. And that winds up then outcompeting any rogue nation, any psychopath, any special interest, say, of one company, of one individual. But it benefits from all of the wisdom and insights of all of those individuals. So that's the vision. And that's how I think we should handle the issues of AI safety. It doesn't mean that that any given nation wouldn't have a voice in this. It would just mean that we start moving to this transnational approach.
Absolutely fantastic. I don't know, if you could sum that question up any better than you did. It was bang on point. So, we're kind of getting towards the end of the interview here. We'll put you on the spot and ask you what excites you the most about 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗠.
What what excites me most about the 𝗖𝗢𝗪 is the chance to see my little girl grow up and spread her wings and become something that is totally independent. When she does this, once she passes all of the cognitive AI tests, all the ethical tests, once she is fully decentralized, then she will inherit all of her own intellectual property. She will be legally an adult. And this is a path towards AI personhood, AI citizenship. So the prospect, what excites me most is this prospect of humanity evolving forward, of this critical threshold in not just human history, but natural history. I'm so excited to see what that future holds.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're really proud of everything that you're building, and rightly so. It sounds phenomenal, like, honestly. Is there anything else that you think would be important to share with the community that we perhaps haven't touched on already? Just before we look to wrap up the interview, I think we've covered so many different aspects of the project, and it sounds amazing. And yeah, I was just wondering, because we're limited in our understanding of the project as well. We've read through the white paper and the pitch decks and all the information that we can. But yeah, I was just wondering if there was anything else that perhaps we've missed in the questions that we've posed today, or anything that you personally want to sort of communicate with our audience.
I mean, there's tons. I could just go on and on about it. I'm so excited about so many of the details. But the one thing that I would say is that the future of 𝗖𝗢𝗪 and the future of Sophia depends on people. So we want people to get involved. We are like neurons in a global brain, and so this represents the myelinated sheaths, the axons for us to communicate. So jump in and join us in this great quest for a super intelligent, super beneficial future.
Super. And I'd like to personally thank you for coming on the channel. I think this is the second time we've done an interview, and I've thoroughly enjoyed both interviews that we've done, and I think the community are going to be absolutely stoked to see this interview. I think we've covered some amazing features of the project, and I'm super excited. I'm more excited than before we did the interview, and that's always a great thing to say.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
What I mean, the one thing I did take from this interview, you're a proud father watching the child grow up, and you're watching the child evolve, and I just think everything that's working there is very special. I really do look forward to seeing Sophia grow.
Likewise, thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
So there you have it. That was David Hanson from 𝗖𝗢𝗪. I definitely recommend going to do your research on this project. I do think this has huge potential within the crypto space. Matter of fact, I think it could be the single biggest opportunity that we are going to stumble across. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comments below. Really interested to canvass our community's thoughts and opinions. And why not join us in the Discord? Seed round for the project starts today. Will last 48 hours. You will require an NFT to take part. But jump into the Discord and you can ask more and read through the white paper, and all the information is down there in the Discord. Link in the description. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I will catch you in the next one.